Good morning. My name is Anthony Palecchia, and I am Professor of Lighting and Sound Design here at USD. And Rachel has asked me to talk a little bit about the lighting design process. For the show Woman in Black, just as in any other show as a lighting designer, you start with a script, you read a script. I'm sure she's talked about this maybe. You read it once for enjoyment. For me, when I read a script, I don't take any notes first time I read it. I just read it. And it's really important to think about how you felt at the end when you first read that script. When you put it down, how did you feel? My goal is to make my audience feel that same thing. Hopefully that agrees with the director's vision. Usually it does. So that's where I want my audience to be at the end of the night after they see a show. Then I read it again, and I read it again, and then I read it again. You keep reading the script. You go to lots of meetings. Usually the director will have a design concept or an approach, what they want to do, time period, place, location, what kind of world they want to create. And then as a designer, I'll have some initial ideas. Usually I find one image that speaks to me about the show. It could just be a landscape, it could be a sculpture, it could be a sunset, it could be anything. That talks to me about a show. It's kind of my original inspiration. You'll see when Rachel shows some of the research I did for the show, there's various images. Some are artworks, there's a lot of paintings for the show. Some are just color palettes, how I want the world to react color-wise. So I start there. Lighting design is visual, so a lot of our research is visual research. Basically, the set designer creates a world, and it's my job, which I kind of love, is to tell the audience where to look. If I'm not doing my job, the audience doesn't know who to look at, what to look at, when to look to stage left, when to look to stage right, when to follow a primary character, when to ignore a primary character, when not to be looking at a scene change, when they should be looking somewhere else. So it's really important to provide focus. There are no hard and fast rules to lighting design, but visibility is the primary rule. If you're not providing that visibility, I'm not doing my job, I guess is the way to put it. Secondary things are creating mood and atmosphere. Is it happy, sad, scary? Providing that visibility, selecting angles and texture and things like that. So as the process moves along, various other meetings, I start choosing a color palette, I start finding some textures, I go to a lot of rehearsals, usually designer runs and run-throughs. I try to see a run as often as I can. My script, I document blocking, so I have a set design, I have notes, I start putting in lots of cues, and every time I watch a run, I put more and more into a script. From that script and from those runs, it helps me determine where I need to put my lights in the space to pick up characters again where they are on stage. As a designer, you create various systems of lights, primary washes, secondary washes, tops, backs, sides, shins. In this show, there's a lot of creeping angles, we like to call it, a lot of low light, a lot of top light, a lot of backlight. It is a ghost story, right? There's a lot of fog and haze and atmosphere, so you have to troubleshoot on where to put those things as well. So then I create a light plot. This is a small version of the light plot, and I will be sending this with Rachel, and she'll show it to you guys as well in PDF. It's every light in the show, where it is, what channel it is, how it's controlled, what color it has, where it's aimed, if it has texture. So lots of lights and light plots. There's a secondary sheet for certain items that just didn't fit on this sheet. This is actually 2 light plates. I've done shows with 6 or 7 of these. It just depends on the show. To make a light plot, usually it's a couple weeks of work. Some long nights. You change things. Usually when you design to your heart. Usually by then I run out of lights. By the time I'm done, I'm 40 lights over my inventory, so then I have to make cuts and changes. One of the constraining factors of design is you only have so many lights in a space, you only have so much cable, you only have so much gobo holders, templates, that sort of thing, and you have to kind of rein in and really figure out what's most important. And that's part of the process, is determining what's a priority, what moments are really important. I kind of like to think of shows as moments. What's the first thing the audience sees when they walk in? What's that first opening moment? What happens before intermission? Those big moments. What's the end of the show? That's a big moment. Those are priorities. And there's tons of other moments throughout a show, but sometimes you only can do so many things at so many times. So you have to constrain yourself a little artistically, but you're still really striving to make every moment unique, every location feel different than the last. So we create this plot, and it goes to my electricians and my crews. They have about a week to hang it, turn stuff on, put the lights in the control system, making sure they work. Then we spend about a day and a half focusing where the theater is dark, and I go from light to light to light, aim it where I want it, shutter cut it, shape it, drop its pattern, check its color. Color does change. As a lighting designer, color is one of the easiest things we change, and it's one of the most often things we change. Color can be tough. This show has a lot of blues, a lot of blue-based colors, some light lavs, some ambers, very, very few ambers. A lot of texture. Part of the goal is to make it feel cold on stage, so there's a lot of what we call color correction. So our lights go into our control system and our light board. So from here, I can turn lights on and off. I can take our moving lights and aim them in other places, change their colors, change their textures. Take our LED wash lights and change their colors. So everything gets programmed into this board based on a cue list and a cue orchestration, which is created based off of the script. Start with Q1 and keep going until I'm done. As we go into Tech Week, last couple of days, timings change, cues don't work. As actors speed up, some cues do get deleted. Some cues get attached to other cues, so the stage manager doesn't have to call them in kind of a follow sequence. There's a couple sequences like that in the show that are a string of 8 cues that happen automatically on the stage manager telling one go. So there's a lot of timing involved. A lot of timing with sound and special effects. When Megan chooses certain windstorms and things like that, and the lights have to go out, I have to time that to the time of her sound effect cues and things like that. And that's the process, and we keep going till we open, and then we open, and then I sleep. So I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, please ask Rachel, and she can pass them along. So have a good day. Thanks.